All right, all right, all right. So where are you at with that? You believe in any of that silliness that we got people throwing out there that somebody else can be plugged in because McDaniel's coaching him and they'll be just like Tua?
Yeah, I think any decent basketball player can do what Jimmy Butler did in the playoffs last year under Eric Spoelstra, right? I mean, it makes sense. Eric Spoelstra's a great coach. He puts
That's
guys in
right.
position to succeed.
That's right.
So I just think you replace Jimmy Butler with like, I don't know, some random player, and he'll probably put up 30 on 60%
Ben
shooting from the field.
Simmons. If
Yeah,
Ben
there you go.
Simmons was here, he would do exactly what Jimmy Butler's doing.
It's
It's
kind of crazy.
isn't it?
It's just people that I think were doubting Tua from the beginning, and now they're just trying to
Move the
soften the
goalpost.
blow. Exactly. Yeah.
Move the
Yeah.
goalpost. Move the
Yeah.
goalpost. It's like, dude, you're
Exactly.
wrong already. Let it go
Just admit
already.
it and move forward. Right.
Did you watch that special that just came out? It's called Tua Tagovailoa, A Prophecy in the Making. Have you watched it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
You have to watch it.
I'll watch
Like
it.
like seriously, it's some of the best 50 minutes you will spend in your life. You will cry, by the way, because it's just an emotional type of thing with his family and everything.
Mhm.
It's just and then you watch him dominate at every level, dude.
Yeah.
Like it shows you how he goes about everything, and it is just nuts, dude. Like he told his family that if he gets a shot, okay, I'm kind of ruining this, but sorry. But he told his family because I'm so pissed at all this other crap out there, and it's like I want you to watch this. He goes to his family prior the night before the national championship game, which Jalen Hurts is starting.
Yeah.
And he may not even play or anything. They said maybe they'll get a package, get him out there maybe. So he doesn't even know he's playing, right? And he goes to his parents. If I get in the game, our name will be known forever and all over the world.
Wow.
Uh,
Goosebumps.
you got to have the
Yeah.
the the nuts that are bigger than Homestead Miami Speedway where I'm at right now. Have the kind of nuts that don't fit in the pit here, okay? To say to your parents, hey, if I get a shot, our name will be known all over the world when I'm done. Like you called your shot, dude.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
called your shot. And
You're
they
right.
show
He hadn't done much he hadn't done anything on the college level yet before
no,
then
but leading up to that, they show you how he was kicking Jalen Hurts'
in
ass in
practice.
practice
Yeah.
constantly. And that's why at halftime, Saban said, guys, we have to make this tough decision. And kudos to Saban. That's a ballsy
Yeah.
decision because Jalen Hurts wasn't losing any games. You couldn't bench the guy. You can't bench somebody that doesn't lose.
Yeah.
And,
And
and,
that
and
in
you know,
that spot in that spot in the national championship game, it's not like it's a middle of the season game playing LSU. No, you're in the championship game. You're putting in a guy who hasn't played all season.
a sophomore, a
Yeah,
sophomore.
that's
Okay.
unheard of.
I just you got to watch that. And for any of the doubters out there, you need to watch so you can see what this guy's made of, dude. And maybe you need a reminder or something. But when someone dominates at every level, and like the last 2 years, he's in the MVP conversation. How stupid can you be to think that anybody can do this?
Yeah. And
People
it's not
just
just the physical gifts either, it's mental too. I mean,
right
his first 2 years were not easy playing for
playing
Brian
for a
Flores,
guy.
that we
Yes,
now know, right? Like, that was not easy. To bounce back from that, still have confidence, do what he did last season, and then have the concussion issues, and still come back this year. Try to do everything he could this offseason to help to stay healthy and to avoid as many hits to the head as possible and fall differently and protect himself. And then now play even better this season.
yeah. I mean,
He's a mentally tough guy. There's no doubt about it.
you come off the bench to win the national championship, bro.
Yeah.
And it's there's a cool scene right where they show Trent Dilfer ripping into him right in front of everybody in the Elite 11, and you are undisciplined. He was telling him, and Tua like took it to heart. His parents went to Trent, said, "Okay, what does he need to work on?" He went and worked on it the entire offseason. They showed the video and everything. He comes back to the Elite 11 the following year, best quarterback in the nation. He everything he told him to work on, he was the best at it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's right. It's he's wired differently. I keep trying to tell people this, and it's just, whatever, bro. It just I don't get it. I don't get it. It is what it is. What are you gonna do? Well, tonight, as a writer, do you kind of get to the point like, thank God, bro, this is the last preseason game now. I get to start talking about like real stuff.
Real things.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That was me after the second game. Yeah. I
I
mean,
was
I'm just happy. They used to have 8 preseason games. Imagine that. So I'm just
yeah.
happy it's 5 this year.
I was telling Sean that I enjoy summer league more than preseason because summer league, I don't know what I'm going to see.
Mhm.
It's like I'm waiting for the new guy to find out, and then preseason we kind of know what it is. I almost like want them just to stay healthy.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Which
No, for sure. Especially by the 5th preseason game. Maybe the first one, you're like, oh, I'm in, see who's improved, see some of the young guys how they perform at this level. But by the 5th preseason game, it's like, all right, let's just, yeah, everyone stay healthy. Let's get to the regular season.
let's get to it. And by the way, healthy, they're not. So what are we
Yeah.
dealing with here going into Detroit next Wednesday?
Yeah. There's 3 guys who their availability for the season opener is in question, and one that's definitely going to be out next week, Haywood Highsmith, who it's unfortunate because he's had a really good preseason.
I
His
like him.
best performance of the preseason was a few nights ago. Been shooting the 3 ball well. He obviously can defend really well, can rebound, versatile. Was gonna be in the rotation. Like it was clear, like clear cut rotation level player now at this point of his career, and he's going to be out for at least 2 weeks. He has an MCL sprain. Going to be reevaluated in 2 weeks. So it could be probably if he's going to be evaluated in 2 weeks, that probably is going to be longer than that. So unfortunately for him, and unfortunately for the Heat, he's not going to be ready for at least the first week of the season, and it might go beyond that.
MCL sprain. MCL sprain, couple weeks. Hmm. Wonder.
Is
Doesn't
there
need
another
surgery.
player in the area that has? Yeah,
Doesn't need surgery, huh? Well, there might be a running back for the Miami
right.
Dolphins. They haven't said anything about his injury, and he didn't need surgery. And I don't know, it might be also an MCL sprain. But at least the Heat tell us it's an MCL sprain. The Dolphins haven't said if it's an MCL sprain.
Yeah,
I wonder if it is.
yeah, yeah.
Anyway,
The other 2 guys are Josh Richardson, who hurt his foot last game. It's weird. I think he had his left foot injury that forced him to miss the second and third preseason games. Then he hurt his right foot in the 4th preseason game. Fortunately for him, the MRI was negative, came back clean, just kind of a tweak of the foot. He's day to day. But again, will he be ready in 6 days for the season opener? That's up in the air as well. And then Jaime Jaquez, which we've talked about, Big O, the growing injury that he suffered last week in practice, strain growing. He's been doing a little more. I saw him yesterday after practice working on the court with assistant coaches, putting up shots. So that's a good sign. But again, a growing, that's tricky. I don't know if he'll be ready for the start of the season. So those 3 guys are the ones that their availability right now is up in the air.
do the Heat have too many soft tissue injuries?
I mean, last year they were one of the most injured teams in the league.
So
So
I'm just
yeah,
wondering, since changes were made because Ron Culp's gone, right?
yes,
Obviously. And I wonder how much that training staff has changed because the last couple of years, and now I'm watching in the preseason here, it's a lot of soft tissue injuries, bro,
yeah,
with the
yeah.
Miami Heat. What the hell is going on with that?
Yeah, no, I don't know. It's a fair question. I know people on Twitter have been asking the same question. Why do the Heat keep getting so injured, right? It's like it's nonstop. Last year was just a revolving door of injuries. Some of it are freak injuries. Some of it is just like, I think Jaime said he just went for a dunk in practice and he felt something pull in his groin,
Right?
So,
Is he not
uh,
getting stretched out right? Is it,
yeah.
I'm wondering because when it's so many different people, if if it's the same dude that's habitually injured because he's injury prone, then we all get it. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And we all understand that. We know what Kyrie Irving is, or or Odell Beckham, or somebody that is constantly injured. But this is all over, up and down the roster,
Yeah.
and I've been wondering that. I've been asking myself, what the hell is going on with the Heat and their training staff? And I have to kind of lean to the training staff because it's not just, like I said, it's not just one player, it's many players.
Yeah, I mean, there are some new faces of, I don't know if, again, I'm not blaming them, but there are new
Shit,
faces. Ron Cope obviously isn't there. Jay
Yeah, Jaquez
Sable
has
isn't
already
there
had
anymore.
several injuries. Jaquez has already had several injuries, and he's barely
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah. I mean, Hawkeye's dealt with injuries in UCLA too, right? The foot, um, different. I think the ankle. It was the ankle actually, the bone spurs in the ankle. So he's dealt with injuries in his college career as well. So that'll be something to monitor, right? If it becomes an issue with him. But look, I don't know what it is. It could just be luck. It could just be coincidence. But the Heat do work players hard, right? We know that they work them hard in practice. Their system demands a lot on defense. They cover, they're always moving. On offense, they're always moving. So does that have something to do with it? Is it a combination of things? I don't know. But the point is, they're always dealing with injuries. It's just unfortunate for them. It's crazy that they've been able to have this success the last 4 years, really with all the injuries they've had. They've been lucky that Jimmy and Bam really haven't had a serious injury, other than Bam having that thumb issue a few years ago when he missed like 2 or 3 months. But other than that, Bam and Jimmy have stayed relatively healthy.
They're lucky they got the best chef in the
And
NBA.
that, yeah.
Okay, the best chef in the NBA saves their ass every single year. That guy is so good. So they should give him two salaries, one for being the head coach, and the other one for just being so damn good at what he does. Man, I'm just so impressed with Spo every single year. And I shouldn't be impressed already at this point. At this point, I should just take it for granted.
Just expect it, yeah.
You're right, and I don't. It's just every year he does something else, and I'm like, this guy is just out of control as a coach, man.
Yeah.
I just love watching this guy do his thing because the Heat are in great hands. Whoever the team is, they're going to be maxed out because that guy is going to, get the
Mhm.
most out of them. When you look at Spo, what's his best trait to you?
I think it's his ability to mold his system based on the roster he has.
Yeah.
Um, look, did you ever think that he would play as much zone as they have the past few years? Did you think a
Oh,
Heat team under Pat Riley, and Eric Spoelstra learned from Pat Riley?
right.
It's not like he came in and didn't share Pat Riley's philosophy.
He just didn't
His
copy Pat Riley.
He
That's the
just
thing.
didn't copy power. He
Oh
made his
man,
own, which is, yeah. But he's adapted to his roster. He's adapted to the modern game. He's kind of been revolutionary in a way. When the big three, he was kind of playing positionless basketball, playing smaller, and people were like, "What are you doing? How is Shane Batty playing a power forward?" And supposedly, no, I'm positionless. Like we have basically smalls and bigs, and that's it.
right.
So I think that's his best trait, is that he thinks out of the box. He's creative, kind of like McDaniel in a way, right? Like McDaniel's,
Yes.
one of his best traits is just being innovative, not just doing stuff because it's been done before, and sticking with that. Like doing things differently. And yes, maybe receive some criticism, or maybe it doesn't work sometimes. But you like a guy who's going to try new things, and be innovative and be creative, and again, mold his system around the talent he has. That's, I think, what makes a really good coach. Not a coach that tries to fit players into his system, because
Right.
that usually doesn't work.
Yeah, no, definitely. It rarely ever works like that. That's usually a recipe for disaster. All right. Well, we're getting ready for the Rockets tonight. What are you expecting tonight, bro?
I mean, most of the guys traveled. Surprisingly, I thought last preseason game on the road, I thought most of the guys would stay in Miami.
Oh,
That's
the
why they did in San
injuries too.
Antonio.
The injuries.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. But at this point, with so many guys dealing with injuries, I'd be scared if I were the Heat to play guys in the preseason finale, right? Like, I just stay healthy. But Bam traveled, Tyler Hero traveled, Kyle Lowry traveled, Caleb Martin traveled. So there's a chance Caleb could play today for the first time this preseason. And I know Caleb wants to get in a game before the regular season. The only guys who didn't travel are Jaime, Josh Richardson, Haywood Highsmith, and Jimmy Butler, which Jimmy Butler, again, with another dental procedure that he had this morning, actually, they left it open ended, saying that he might meet the team in Houston. And if he meets a team in Houston, if he's flying there on the day of the game to Houston, he's probably going to play. But I just, we'll wait and see to see if he shows up. I don't expect it, right? It seems like a little
Why?
much for a preseason game to travel up the day of a game. I know maybe the Heat want to get guys together and play everyone together maybe one time before the start of the season, but that's kind of overstated. They've
Yes.
played with each other the last 4 years. I mean, it's pretty much the same core, and they've been practicing for the last 2 or 3 weeks. Like, they'll be
And not,
okay
by
next
the
week.
way, no player. I don't know. Maybe in the history of the Heat, has ever like blended in with his teammates faster
Then
than
Jimmy, yeah,
Jimmy.
yeah,
I mean, I don't think I've ever seen this. Like Jimmy, it doesn't matter who's on the court. He figures it out and he
yeah.
plays productive and he'll if he needs to set them up, he sets them up. And if he needs to take over, he takes over. And you know, I that's the one thing where I have to say I was so wrong about Jimmy when I first thought he decided to come here. He decided to come here because now it could be his team and he can score the points and he
Right.
can lead the team and all that. And what he has led is in being the most selfless Heat player I have ever seen in my life, to be quite honest. I mean, he truly puts the team first before him and his stats.
Mm.
Like he truly doesn't give a shit about his stats. Whatever they are, and that's because he had to do that day. He had to score 10 or 40. It is what it I've never he is the most selfless player you've ever seen with the Heat, correct?
In a way, yes, his game is very selfless. Yeah, yeah, and he makes it
Well,
sound easy. He makes it look easy, and he makes it sound easy. We spoke with him yesterday at practice. Actually, and he's like, "Basketball is easy. If I'm open, I shoot it. If I don't, I pass it." He just makes it sound so easy, and that's kind of how he plays, right? Like that's he's gonna take a good shot if he has one. If not, he's gonna find the open guy and hope the guy makes it.
yeah.
And that's pretty much how he plays. He makes it look easy, and he honestly, when he explains it, he makes it sound. I was like, oh, I could do that too.
Dude, it's not like I wanna pick on Sherman Douglas or Tim Hardaway or, Jason Williams or, you know, the history or Kyle Lowry or any of these guards, but this
Hmm.
is a shooting guard. He doesn't have to share nearly as much. He doesn't have to create nearly as much. He doesn't have to worry so much like he does
Right.
on the defensive end. He does everything and anything possible to help his team win and facilitate for his teammates. I'm telling you, man,
Yeah.
I've never seen anything like it. I
As
re
Eric Spoelstra calls it, winning plays. That's what he did. He makes the
Yes,
it's kind of similar to LeBron in a way where like he would get
yes,
criticized for making a pass late in the game, and it's like he's gonna make the right play. The
correct.
result might not work out, but the process, he's gonna continue doing this, going through the same process of making the right basketball play every time.
Yeah,
And that's what Jimmy Butler does. And that's
yeah,
what makes him great.
yeah. I can't say enough about him. What do you got, going on in the Herald so folks can check it out, my man?
Yeah, posted something yesterday, kind of previewing tonight's preseason finale. The questions entering the game. There are a few. Obviously, how are he going to respond to these injuries now? Who's going to play tonight? Again, most of the roster, except for the injured guys, traveled, and maybe Jimmy Butler's a TBD. But we could see most of the regulars playing tonight. I mean, they made the trip. We could see Caleb Martin for the first time tonight in this preseason game. And then the last question is who's going to get the final roster spots? You and I have spoken about it. Seems like Jamal Cain is the front runner. If Jamal Cain is promoted to the standard contract, who's going to get his two-way spot? Looks like Cole Swider, right, might be the guy on the exhibit 10 guys, or maybe it's an outside name that we don't
Hey,
foresee.
Drew Smith with the 10 assists the other night. I really like that, by the way. That
Drew
was
Smith maybe could be. I still think Jamal Cain is the front runner, but Drew Smith
oh, for
maybe. I know the
sure.
Heat really like him.
Yeah.
Maybe he's promoted to the standard contract. We'll see.
Shit,
But
when you guys asked him what stood out, he said Kane's
Cain's
energy.
energy, yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean? Like Jamal Cain is a Heat player, bro.
he's an
If
NBA
I
player. Yeah, he's an NBA player.
no, not only is he an
Yeah,
NBA player, he's a Heat player. Like
yeah,
he is wired to play for this team, bro. He's tough, fearless. I love that kid, man. I
yeah.
love that kid. Sean and I liked that kid 2 years ago since we saw him at the
I like
summer
him
league,
too.
and it was like, "Yo, who is this kid?" He got in late, and right from the get-go, he imposed his will, and I love that about players, and
Yeah.
that's one thing about Kane. He will impose his will, at any point in the game, dude. I like him a lot. Yeah,
Yeah, he
definitely.
makes you watch him, and also now with Haywood out for at least 2 weeks and maybe more,
Yeah.
he might play a little bit, especially if there's
Yes.
another injury. He might play.
Yeah.
I mean, the other option is Nikola Jovic, right? Which he might play a little more too with Haywood Highsmith out, but Jamal Cain, with what he does, the skill set he does, he has, it's more similar to Haywood Highsmith. So if you're
Yes.
looking for that type of player, Jamal Cain might get some minutes early in the season.
Yeah, no, I would give him minutes. I have no problem. I like the kid, man. I think he can play. All right, follow him on Twitter at Anthony_Chiang and catch his work there at the Miami Herald. Anthony, have a great weekend. Enjoy the basketball tonight and the football over the weekend, my friend. We will talk on Tuesday.
Yes, should be fun. Have a good weekend, Big O.
Thank you, sir. There you go, the great Anthony Chiang from the Miami Herald, getting it done as always. Our BaptistHealth.net/ortho Miami Heat report. And folks, you don't need to be a professional athlete to go where the pros go. The doctors at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care can see you now. Visit BaptistHealth.net/ortho to request an appointment and get yourself back in the game. And if you have an injury that's keeping you from doing what you love, take charge of your health and get back into the game with the help of the all-pro staff at Baptist Health Orthopedic Care.